Well, hello. Excuse me. Oh, my voice went away. Hello, good afternoon, good evening. It is another Monday. We are here, and I'm excited to be here with you in Miss G's Ladies Lounge. Excuse me. All right, let's try that again. Welcome to Miss G's Ladies Lounge. It is another Monday, and I'm excited to be here. Monday. Excited to be here with each and every one of you. And I know that many of you have been wondering what is this episode that we're doing all about this season series. So I want you to just really jump right in. If you missed our premiere, the first episode on last week, you can go back and you can watch it. But we're going to kind of move forward, and you'll be fine catching up today. But last week we did talk about our book bites and getting started with the VIP book bites with Miss G. So we're here on tonight for episode number 2, and I'm Gwen Finley. I am your host. I am a visionary book coach, book and writing coach, and author, speaker, and I love just sharing information that will help writers to release what's inside of them, help writers to build legacy, help writers to finalize that story that's been rolling around in your head and you've been waiting and deciding, what can I do with this story that I have that's inside of me and I need to tell it? So I'm here to help you bring that story to life. Now, with VIP's Book Bites, we are just giving a few tips and helping you to kind of narrow down even how to get moving and motivated with releasing that book. So, on last week, our subject was talking about no more waiting, it's just time to get started. So, on today for episode 2, our question is: does your book need an outline? Does your book need an outline? And it's a question that I know a lot of writers may have asked themselves in the beginning or at some point in time. And there could be various answers to this question. But tonight we'll just talk about a few, practical points to help you to decide if your book needs an outline. Um, the premiere show, as I said, was talking about getting started. So I know you probably said to yourself, all right, Miss G, look, I've gotten started. You told me to write some things down and I wrote them down. Now what? All right, so tonight let's go into the outline question. What does an outline actually do for your book? I know that's question number 1 that most individuals will have. An outline actually gives your book some direction, but it is not a restriction. It is not the end all be all, as some will say. It's not a contract. It's more like a roadmap. But if you decide to turn down the left lane and go to the left and take an alternate route, it's okay. You can do that. But here's what an outline can do for your book. So you want to start off figuring out what is your book's one main message that you want to share. And so this is how you can build your outline. You can ask yourself a few questions and you can put this in your outline. What is the one main message that I want my book to convey? If my reader remembers only one thing after finishing this book, what do I want that one thing to be? So the outline is not a prison for your creativity. It's just that roadmap that's going to help you to answer even that main question that you have. Now, a lot of times we will have so much in our minds about what we really want to write about. And thank you all that are joining me. Welcome to Miss G's Ladies Lounge. I see you popping on in here. So go ahead and put something in the chat. Let me know you're here. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask questions. I appreciate you stopping in and also share the stream. You that are watching, or if you catch it, by the replay, go ahead and share and let someone else know Miss G's Ladies Lounge was live. So you may have a lot of information in your mind and in your brain that you're thinking, hey, I have so much stuff and I know I want to put this in a book. I just don't know how to categorize it or how to format it. But you have to know some type of way where it is that you want to go. So, once again, you want that main message theme that you're going to get. So, here's an idea and a tip for you. Take all the things that is rolling around in your head and just write it down. That's right. Write it all down. It's called a brain dump. Dump all those things before you even start your outline. Dump all those things that are just rolling around in your head and you can't seem to get rid of it, and you know that it's a part of your story. Write down everything that you think belongs in your book, the stories, the lessons, the experiences, scriptures, teaching points, whatever it is. And you can organize that a little bit later. Now, what you want to do is try to figure out or know where it is that you want to go. So, identify that central message and then list the major ideas that you want or the major points that you want to get across to those that's reading your book. So those can become your working chapters or sections. You know, sometimes people will put the book in sections. I think my last anthology, I did 4 sections, and I had, I think it was 12 chapters or so. And so we were able to put them into each one of those, or maybe it was I think it was 9. I'm sorry, it was 9. So we had 3 sections. So I was able to put three individuals in each section, and their stories kind of flowed together. And so we were able to theme those sections. So you want to write it down. You want to have a way to make this move in a direction that will not confuse people. And people are going from beginning, and in the back of the book, they have to go back to the beginning to figure out what it was you said up there that connects this chapter over here. So this way you have more of a flow with your book. So you want to list the major ideas, and those can become those working chapters or sections. Put them in a logical order. When you look at what you have jotted down, it may not all go together. You may have thought of Sally having a big red hat earlier, but later on you may have thought about her having some yellow shoes. Well, the red hat and the yellow shoes might not go together. So, is there somewhere else that Sally wore those yellow shoes to? I mean, we've got to make it all make sense, right? So, you'll organize this a little bit later, but you can put it in some logical order where you can figure out later how you're going to structure your story. Turn the big ideas into possible chapters. The big ideas, look for the things that's really going to stand out and grab someone's attention and allow them to focus on what you're saying. So look for those big ideas and try to build your chapters around that. Thank you for coming on in. I see you coming on in. Thank you so much. Welcome, and be sure to leave us a comment. Let us know you're here. All right, so listen, we're not ready to worry about chapter titles or anything like that. Just relate those, group those thoughts that relate together and give each group a temporary heading. Don't worry about titles. Don't even worry about the title of the book. You may have a theme for the book, but it may not actually be the title. Just start writing. Start focusing on what it is that you want to talk about. So the outline can just give you that guide, that roadmap that will let you know some of the things that you're going to talk about in your story and where some of those things may go. Now, later on, as I said, when you're riding down the street, you may see a map and you may have thought you were going to take 95 all the way, but they showed you a shortcut taking 288 and getting all the way up to the end of 95 a little bit quicker. So you're going to take, you may have to take that and move that around a little bit later. So put the chapters in the reader's order, not necessarily your order, the order that the readers would better be able to follow your story and understand your flow. And ask yourself, what does my reader need to know first before I even take them to the next point? If I brought out a subject, if I started talking about something, what is the first thing that I want my reader to recognize before I even get to the next point in this chapter? So we have outlines, and it is not an absolute something that you have to do, but it is a good thing, especially for those who need to order or find order for their story. Some people can just sit down and write, and so it is not a biblical truth that the outline has to be there. You want to keep it flexible. Your outline can change even as your manuscript grows. So even if you create an outline and you decided that you want to change and you no longer want to talk about a specific subject, maybe you'll hold that for the sequel. You can change that. You can make changes as you go. Now, if a full outline feels overwhelming, you can also start with just a simple chapter list and write one sentence describing what each chapter should accomplish, not necessarily the chapter title, just the list. I know that I'm writing a story about eggs and ham. And I know I want a chapter that talks about eggs. I know I want a chapter that talks about where the chicken, has laid the eggs. I know I want to write a chapter about the ham and where the ham comes from. I know these things. So you want to give yourself just a list of the things that you want to talk about. And this is how you build your outline, but it does not have to be structured. It does not have to be so um, well put together like you're going to keep that in the book. No, you're not going to necessarily keep that in the book. It's just going to be something to help you move from point A to point B, C, D, and on. All right. So I want to give you a challenge because, like I said, we're just giving bites, just simple little bites. I want you to just create a working outline with 5 to 10 possible chapter titles. And you can call them titles for now, but they don't really have to be titles. Don't worry about trying to make it perfect. Just try to give your book some direction. All right. So let's make it like really, really simple. First, write your book's main message at the top of the page. Underneath it, list 5 to 10 things you know you want to talk about. Get that list going. And if you've done that, congratulations. You just started your outline. Not only that, just the fact that you started, you're already working towards your completion, right? We can't finish anything that we don't start. So your outline does not have to be perfect. It just needs to give your thoughts somewhere to go. And what happens when you have that outline? You sit down, you write it, and suddenly the words won't come. Oh, goodness. Well, we're going to talk about that on the next episode. So make sure you come back to Miss G's Ladies Lounge, where we'll be here. And the next week, we're going to be talking about beating writer's block. Ooh, beating writer's block. Now, for some of you, like I said, it's just so easy to write. It's easy to just sit at the keyboard and just start writing, and then for some, it's a hardship. But take your time, one step at a time. Your outline does not have to know every detail. It simply needs to show you where to take the next step. All right, well, this is Miss G, and I promised you just 15 minutes. So here we are. We are at the end of today's session. I want you to meet me back here on next Monday, where we'll be continuing with episode number 3. We've got 6 episodes we're bringing through this series of Miss G's VIP book bites. So I want to make sure that you pop in. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Rachel. I appreciate you being here. So make sure that you're here on next week, 15 minutes. That's all. I'm going to let you get back to cooking your dinner, putting the kids to bed, whatever it is you need to do. But until next week, you have yourself a great evening. And thank you once again for joining us. This has been Miss G's Ladies Lounge. Bye.